All right, hey guys. A couple of you have been asking about add-ons or what you could do to possibly improve your interface, because there's like a lot of things that you would probably need at this point to make your gameplay a little bit better, such as more buttons or like more advanced unit frames or something like that. So I wanted to show you at least the add-ons that I use in kind of, I guess, alphabetical order. You can use these if you want. I'll provide a download link. Um, let's get started because I actually use a ton. And add-ons are great because World of Warcraft was designed with an open source interface option with a language called Lua, and they wanted people to add to the game. They wanted people to create custom interfaces. So it's, you want to think of it like you're in the pilot seat, like this is your cockpit, like you should be able to control where your buttons are and how much or how little you want to see of everything. So here's like a preview of like all the add-ons that I run, and as you can see, it's a ton. And I'm just going to go over um, some basics about what they are and how to use them if you decide you want some of these. Let's load in. Back in the day, like we didn't actually run this many add-ons because our computers didn't have enough RAM. But now you can just go insane and have them all, which is great. All right. Um, we'll start in alphabetical order here. Uh, I guess the first one is Questi, which is good because you can see. You guys should have this. It's just a questing mod where you can see like where the quests are that are your appropriate level and like where the drops are. And I think if you like click on a mob, it'll have like a preview of like what you could potentially loot from it from the thing. Here we go. Here's a vulture, and as you can see in the tooltip, it's got now 2 of 10 of the wings. So I can like look at things. Actually, you can't see it. Here we go. I can look at things and know like, oh, I'm supposed to loot this. All right. The Questi is really great. You can toggle it like that. Um, let's see. The second one in alphabetical order is Atlas. So when you get it, you type /Atlas, and you can look at all the dungeons, and it's locked. Look at that. You can look at all the dungeons and what they drop, which is great. Like if you want to figure out if you want to do a dungeon or not, and it tells you like what the level range is. So like RFD is 37 to 46. So I could do this and I could go like, oh, here's the map. Like I can see, so I won't get lost in here. The first guy drops like these gloves, this cape. Oh, like, it looks pretty good. Or like a cool chest piece. Like that's great. Like 28%. Like first boss. Like that's awesome. Um, and you can keep a track of things you want to get from it, and then you can find. It even shows you like where the quests are, like if there's a rare spawn. Um, and you can see all the dungeons in the game, and even some of the raids, which is really nice. This is like one of my favorite add-ons, just because you can see. It makes it so you don't have to look up these things like online, because a lot of this stuff is like hard to find. Um, let's see. You guys are learning about Ox, so the next one would be, I guess, a bag item. I really love this one, Bagnon, which just puts all of your inventory into one giant bag. And you can see your bags right here, so you know, so you can like remove them or something if you get a better bag, which is great. Or you can just hide it if you want like absolutely simple interface. I love this because you can just open them all at once and see it in a big grid, which is a lot nicer than having to open your bags one at a time. And I can organize things a lot better. Let's see what we got here. All right, here's another one of my favorites is bongos. You're probably wondering what this um, what these bars are here and how I got them. This is a bar mod called bongos, and you're at this point you're probably like running out of space for all of your abilities, and Blizzard just honestly doesn't give enough bars. So a lot of people get these bar mods so they can add bars, and bongos gives you up to 120 buttons, I believe. And once you install it, you can access the menu by typing /bongos. And you can unlock them so you can see like where the bars are, and then turn on all of them. And like we've got now like 10, and you can just move them around like so. Very easy. Like if you just need like a shit ton of buttons, like this is great. Like, okay, I've got so many bars, and then I can move them over here. And you could also do things like change their change the size of it. Like, let's say I want a bar with only 4 buttons. Like, I could do that, or I could make it a vertical bar or like a square bar. So you could do things like that. Make it make it a 4 by 3 or something. And then like if I really wanted to get crazy with this, I could even change the scale so it matches things in my interface, which is great. Like I want like some buttons to be nice and big so I can see them, or some buttons to be small because they're not important. And like I changed my menu bar so that's really small right here. But I actually generally only need 5. But just if you want, you can have more. And so you could do something like you could put all of your food and drink over here, or like right here, so you can access that really cool. Um, it also comes with like a movable map. So like I could move this map here. Oh, I'm getting attacked. It's okay. Um, let's kill this guy really fast. Sorry. Shouldn't have done a tutorial so close to some mob spawning. Execute. There we go. Visibility. Yeah. Turn all these extra guys off. Yeah. So anyway, that's one of my favorites. Um, I believe it also has um, an option for casting and experience and rolling, but I don't have those on because I have other things for that. Um, yeah, extra good. This is one of my favorites. Um, let's see what else we got. Let's go to the next one. Cartographer. You guys probably already have this, but this shows your coordinates. So if you get a quest and it says go to 3842, you can kind of like look at this and go, all right, am I here? And start running towards it. And another good thing about a cartographer is once you loot an herb or a mineral, it'll put an icon right on your map to show you where the herb will spawn. So you've got an inventory now of like where all these herbs spawn. So if I go to I've been doing a lot in Westfall, like I can see all of the herbs locations. So if I need to grind these herbs again, I can go back very easily and find them. I know for sure that spawns on this server right here in this location. The first thing I should probably say about chat windows is that you can customize them and they're really good. Like you can have a number of channels being shown or not shown, and even change the font size. This is the most important thing about chat right here. It's not even add-on. You just have this option. If you want to move it, you can just right-click the tab here and unlock window. So this is great, and you can change the size of it. Right now I have it to where like I'm typing on top of it, but like I can put this in the corner here and size it exactly the size that I need it. If you decide like you're looking at too much chat and you want to make another one, you can right click this and do create new window. Name the channel window. So I'll name this like spam chat, and I'm going to put all these inside spam chat. I'm going to put all the channels that I would normally don't look at, like general, local defense, and world. And if you don't use world, guys, you totally should. It's good to look for. It's good to look for groups in, and then you can turn off the things you don't want in the spam chat. So I'm going to turn off slay, yell, guild, whisper, and party. And then I'm going to drag it out here, and I can put this, actually this combat log. I'll put this spam chat over here, and this is going to be a place that I don't look all the time. And drag it out, and now this is where everything else is going to go. So if I type in world /4 hello world, it'll show up over here. If you guys don't know about World, I recommend joining it if you're starting to look for groups and stuff like that, because it's a server-wide channel for all of the Alliance and all the Horde respectively. And the way you do that is with text command. So you type slash join space world, and that will give you the new channel. And for me, it's 4. And if you decide you need to leave it, you type slash leave world, and then you can join again, slash join world. Very easy. And people mostly use it to communicate, to sell things server wide, or to get groups. And you'll see people talking in it like looking for a group, Wayland Caverns. All right, the next one is a chat one, which I love. Generally, the chat options for Blizzard, like default, are like not amazing because they take up a lot of space in the way that it says things. Because it'll say like world, general, like player name, like says, and then the thing that it says. So that like that's a third of the chat frame for like channels. Like that's stupid. Like you should be able to take most of that out. So Chatsui like can allow you to customize that. But one of the things I really like about it is it just simplifies some of the chat so that you don't have to have these those buttons. And this probably doesn't look like anything because you're not used to seeing what it looks like without it, but it makes a huge difference because it can remove like some of that useless information. Slash one hello. Yeah. And then another thing I've got going on with my chat here is I've now separated into 2 windows, which you can see if I do that. This one is my main one for guild. So if I type in guild, like I say, hello guild, I'll always see this here because there's no one spamming guild, and it's for parties as well. And then I've got another one set up right here for general, which is like all the stupid shit people say in general spam and like the world channel. So like I can say in world /4, like where is Nomuragon? And see, it showed up in this one, and then I'm gonna get messages about that in here. And see, it has an interrupted guild chat, which is still going, and that way I can have access to it again. Another good thing about chat Sui is that sometimes people link URLs in game, and there's no way for you to copy them. But with this, you can easily copy. It recognizes like URLs and will give you a link to copy. So if someone's like, go to this website, if you click on it, it now gives you like a little thing that you can copy and paste from, which is really nice. I just said that in World, so everyone's like, why the hell did you link Facebook in World? Like, this is terrible. All right, let's see, what's the next one? Cursive, casting bar. One of my favorite things is like customizing a casting bar, because the Blizzard casting bar is like pretty lame actually. So with just a little bit of work, you can make a custom casting bar with something called eCasting bar. It's one of the best. And right now I don't actually have it super specified. So if I type ECB, I now have the options. So this is how big my casting bar is, because I really like it huge. Let's put it right here, and then we can change the width. It's good. Oh yeah, right there. And then we'll hide outline. And now you can see like my Hearthstone there. It's set up kind of like aligned in the middle, which is nice. It also has a mirror bar, which is the bar for your like breathe timer, and like I think it'll also do enemy cast bars if you enable it. And you hit hide outline, just have that in the middle of your screen there. You can also get another one called lag cast, which is really good, which shows you exactly when you can cast a new ability depending on the lag of the server, because you can actually cast sooner than you think. So you can keep spamming things like slightly faster. Like if you can take off like 30 milliseconds from your cast time, and then if you're casting for like 5 minutes, it's like nonstop, that means like you'll get like 10 extra casts or something like that. Let's see. All right, the next one is Foobar. And Foobar is amazing. It's one of my favorites. You've probably noticed it's this thing up here. And what it is, it's a customizable bar, which you can have all kinds of information that you want on it. And there's like a million things you can add because it's actually all it's all plugin like open source plugins that people have made. So you get a bar and then you choose what you want to have. And right now I have like stats, so I can see like what my latency is, what my frames per second is, uh, just like general like computer stats. Another one I have is item bonuses, which I can see like my plus strength and stuff, which is great. It'll even do things like what's your nature resistance or what is your spell damage or like what is your frost damage, which is like amazing. Here's another one, just shows guild members, shows my friends. The money one is great because it'll tell you like how much you're making per hour, how much you spent, which is like crazy because you'll be like, well, holy crap, like I spent 13 gold like this week, like, but I only made 19. Like that's ridiculous. And then another one that's really great is damage. It'll show you damage per second, which is great because like I mean, you can't realistically do the math to figure out if you're doing more damage or not, and ideally you want to be doing the most damage possible. So if you have this DPS meter enabled, you can easily see like how to optimize your damage. Like sometimes I can't tell like if it's better or not for me to have like a two-hander or like two one-handers, and with this I like unequivocally know like okay, with this weapon my average DPS is about 43, and if I switch, then if I'm making more or less than that, that's how I know whether or not it's an improvement. So you can figure out if things are like basically a DPS loss. Other simple things like durability, like I can just always see like how close I am to needing to repair. And then there's like an XP bar, and it shows like it's giving me an estimate of like how fast I might level for this session. Like it's saying like based on my current killing speed, I might level in another 2 minutes or something like that. And then I get a clock. But there's like a million. There's like a million billion. Like you could have all of these. You could have all of these enabled. Oh, somebody wants to fight. He wants to. He's getting me good. He's gonna get me though. It's too many horde. That's fine. We'll just pick this up in a second. Yes, kill. Let's see. We'll go to the next one. Yeah, like a million billion. You could have ones that tell you your rest, ones that like have a button to reload UI. Ones that tell you like who rolled on what. Stuff to help summon, stuff to tell you how fast you're going. It's crazy. You could even change like the textures and stuff. All right, so that's Fubar. Really good. I love that one. Good. Here's the next one. Is actually a instant messaging client for World of Warcraft, which is really good because like I sometimes lose track of all the things I'm saying to all my friends. So with this, like Dave can message me and it shows up in a window instead of like in my chat log. He's saying I'll have my mount in 10 minutes. That's awesome, dude. And this makes it much more like AOL Instant Messenger, which I like. I can close it, and if I ever need to access it again, I can click here. Really good. Really good for having conversations with people. And then I can like have multiple at once. Like if I type to myself, hello, Brent. Like I can have multiple conversations with multiple people and not lose track of who I'm talking to by having to type commands and stuff like that all the time. So this is one of my favorites. Dave is running to the trainer. That's good. All right, the rest. Let's keep going. The next one would be, we'll skip over this and go to move anything, which is one of my favorites. There's a lot of things that might be stuck or something, or like have some sort of like broken positioning because you've tried to edit it too much, and so there's like a simple add-on called Move Anything, which will just allow you to straight up move all the frames in the game. Move slash move. There it is. Cool. So like one of my things is that I like to move the tooltip. So I can come down here and go to tooltip and click move, and then it'll give me the actual frame and move it right here, so I can have it like above my chat window, and then I can lock it in and close it. But you can move like anything, doesn't matter. Let's get out of this place. All right. Another one is unit frames. Unit frames. These are like the best because the Blizzard unit frames, and I'm talking about these things right here, they're not as good as what you could potentially be running. So this one is called Luna, and there's like a million. I mean, there's Pearl and Pearl Classic, and then Luna, and then like there's like a million billion, and they're all super customizable. But I really like Luna and Pearl Classic because of the things that they offer. So I can see all this information about myself, my target, and my target of target. And you guys definitely want target of target enabled because you can then see like what the thing you're fighting is targeting. So you can figure out like, oh, I've lost aggro now because this Crocolisk is attacking my friend. Or you can like click on a horde and he's like targeting you, so you know like, oh fuck, like I'm about to die because this guy's gonna run at me. And simple stuff like I can see what everyone is looking at. These guys aren't actually clicking on anything, so it's hard to tell. But it's really good for like raids and stuff when you need to know like what people are looking at. Here, this guy is targeting me. I know, he's thinking about it. He's thinking about me. It also does other cool things, like you can have like a little cast bar inside it. So now I'm seeing like this cast is starting, and I can see my target, which is myself, casting as well. So if you're trying to interrupt somebody's cast and you want to see what they're casting, like it has a built-in thing to where you can see what it is, so you know to interrupt it if like it's about to fear you or something, or if it's trying to heal, you know like exactly what is happening. Really, really good. And then target of target is healing as well. So when someone starts targeting you and they're like, here comes a frostbolt, you're like, oh my god, or a shock. Lunar frames are also really good because they have the experience bar up here, or the option to have an experience bar. And like, I feel like the Blizzard UI there's a lot of screen real estate dedicated to like a bar that barely moves. So I like to keep mine right here, and I can just see the actual numbers. I'm like, okay, 85% done. I've got 13K rested, and it looks like 61K out of 71K done. So I've only got 10,000 to go I before I level. And it's good to know about these numbers, guys, because then you can figure out if the quest you're doing is actually worth it. And generally, like good quests will give you about 2,000 experience or something like that, and they get more as you get later level. And then the mobs will give you like I guess 2 to 300. So if you've got a quest that it's only going to give you like a lot of the talking quests only give you 230 experience, so don't prioritize like turning in like those delivery like style quests if you don't have to, because the quests where you actually go and kill things and get tons of experience and like elite stuff are going to be a lot higher. So you can prioritize some of that stuff. The talking quests are good, and you should do them eventually, because those are typically like the breadcrumb style quests, where it's like you follow the trail of breadcrumbs to lead you to a better quest line later on down the road. But anyways, that's a lot of talk for just a experience bar that's like just in your in your unit frame. Anyways, Luna is fairly complicated, but you can mess around with it by typing /Luna menu. There we go. And you can see all of the millions of options, and like because I can do things like have the width smaller or larger. I can enable like all of these. I can see like what my party is going to look like, what the raid timer is going to look like, and then I can move all these things. Like if If you're the kind of person where you actually want to be playing down here, because you just want to look at this part of your screen, you can do stuff like that, which a lot of people do. It's one of the most useful positioning things. Some people don't want to look up to the side of their screen, so you could just move it right in the middle, which is really nice. Let's see. And the way you move them is by going into config mode, and it basically locks and unlocks it. So this brings me to my next point, which is like if you're obsessed about the way you've got everything laid out, you want everything to be aligned really nicely. So the next one is called align. And when you have it, you just type in /align and you have a big grid on your screen, and you can figure out like, is this actually centered? There we go. And I've got lines down the middle if I want to see like where things are. And so I know that my screen is like perfectly positioned. And then you type in /align again. Turn off config mode, and there we go, we got everything locked. Alright, you guys already know about cell value. Let's see, Shagu is really good. This is like basically a database in-game. So I can type in things like Briar Thorn, and it's telling me that this is a object, and here are the spawn points. And you can go to any zone in the game and see where the spawn points are, and it's all these little guys popping up. And so if you need to herb or mine or something like that, you can find that. Or if you're like looking for a specific quest mob, like I'm looking for the Defias messenger. It's got some spawn points here. Defias messenger is this green thing right here. Or if I'm looking for Razorbeak Griffin, yeah, boom, it's right there. Like, I know the mob, it's right here, it's telling me I can clean, and then I can clean it, turn off all these things. It's really good. Or if I need to, like, if I'm aware of an item that exists in game, like Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker, I can say, yep, there we go. I shift click on that. Now I can say the item. There we go. You can also look for quests and stuff like that, or where they spawn. Really good. The next one I have is spam throttle. And it's not something that you can really see, but it's something that will help you. /st spam throttle. And this is basically what limits the amount of spam that I get in game, because I can filter out words like gold by websites and Trump and like items and URLs that I don't want to hear. And like people often like double spam or triple spam things like, oh, looking for group Wailing Caverns, but then they link it like 10 times, and like you can't deal with that amount of information all the time. So I have spam throttle, which like really limits that stuff. You got to spend some time like customizing it, because otherwise you'll like block out things that your guild is saying if they're like talking about gold or something like that. So just be aware of the customization options here. All of these things are generally like not, they don't really run out of the box that well. They require effort because this is like programming intensive and like thought intensive. Like it's not, this is like open source Linux nerds who make this stuff. It's not like silly iPhone apps. All right. Let's see. The next one is Vanilla Guide, and you guys probably know about this maybe from this other thing. But this is basically like a leveling guide that some people use depending on if they want to be super efficient or not. Let's go without overlay. And it's this thing right here. I can enable it with foobar. And it is literally step by step, like what quest to go to next, where to kill the mobs, and like what things to loot, and when to accept the quests in order, and when to go back to the place so you level the most efficiently. So right now it sent me to the Shimmering Flats, and I'm like doing all these quests uh, in Thousand Needles, which is like a weird area because a lot of times the Shimmering Flats quest will send you back to Stranglethorn Vale, and that's like on the other side of the world. So it basically prioritize you to finish all these things before sending you back to the to Stranglethorn Vale, because otherwise you might do the quest, like get a Stranglethorn Vale quest and like spend an hour getting back here and dying, and then only to like be sent back to Shimmering Flats, which is like another 15-minute like trip around the world. So it'll keep you from doing like less efficient things, and it'll also give you a better idea of like where to go at what level. Because like you might not know to go to Alterac Mountains at 34 because there isn't a flight point there or any quests, but like it'll send you to Hillsborough and then give you the right quests. All right, we're getting closer to the end here, so bear with me. Besides the world channel, which is like slash world, if you haven't joined that already, it's like where people look for groups. Something that kind of works in that vein and makes it a little bit easier is VQ, which is something designed for this server, which is where a place where you can put yourself in queue for different instances, and it kind of like lists things. And anyone running this add-on, which I hope more people start to run because it's very useful, can see that you're looking for a group for something. So I could start a new group for Scarlet Monastery Graveyard, and I could say like, we don't need a. I am a tank. Start a new group. We don't need a tank. Minimum level 34 and create group. And then it's gonna like, and it also keeps track of other people who have said that they need people for these instances, because it reads your chat log and notices when people say certain acronyms that mean instances. So it's reading my chat log and it's saying it found someone that's looking for Scarlet Monastery Library, and it keeps track of those people for like 10-15 minutes. Yes, see, so someone else is looking for a tank and healer, so right away I know that I could find a group for this, but we're not going to do this right now. Anyways, I love VQ. It's pretty good, but it doesn't always work because a lot of people are mostly like manual group creations where they like talk in world chat. Unlist, close. And I think that's more or less it, except for possibly Wowhead Database, which you might have if you already have one of my recommended questing add-ons. But Wowhead Database is basically parsed comments from all of the quest sites where people talk about their experiences doing quests. So when you click your quest log, you get the quest, and then if you scroll down a little bit, you can see what people have actually said about it in game. So it's a little bit like Dark Souls, I think that game is, and it says this quest is known to be flawed. Some have reported it being graded to them at 28, even though the quest says requirements state you need level 28. Fail the quest. So you can see kind of like what people have said about it. Sometimes the comments are just like, located at 6054, be sure to look in Arathi Highlands and not Hillsbrad Foothills like I did. Normally I didn't find anything at this location. Like, very, very, like, good resources here. And you can see, like, just have all the resources at your fingertips about where these things are. Like, I'm going to find these tigers. I found them at 3412. Easy to kill was a good spot for me. This was this much XP. Like, sometimes they're a little weird because like these things are parsed from like later patches, but generally you can find really good information, especially if you're having trouble like completing the quest. Yeah, man, looks good. I probably got some other ones, but I feel like they're probably not terribly worth mentioning in this particularly. If you want to know more, hit me up. Looks like I'm getting sapped. Anyways, that was great, guys. I'll see you later.